Quite interesting statement, but I would like to just pick on one of the things you said, which is in terms of your analysis of INEC's performance in the last election, which is at variance with a number of reports and observations of the last election. I mean, even former Governor Rotimi Amechi and former Minister of Transport had said that this election was against the people, against INEC and security agencies. INEC themselves have admitted that this election, the last election, was marred with a number of irregularities. So a very simple case in terms of just analyzing INEC's performance is their use or lack of use of BVAS and IREV in terms of the electronic transmission of results, which was part of their rules, which they broke. So when you give and you know, when you talk,
may I please correct?
I want to just ask the question so you can correct and then respond to the question. So the question is, how can you say that the process was fair and okay, giving INEC a pass mark without acknowledging very glaring mistakes and errors despite the 355 billion naira given to INEC to administrate this election? It is, I mean, it's quite interesting for you to say that. I'd like to hear your comments now on this.
Please, that's your opinion. Yes, I'm telling you again, that's your opinion. I stand to be held to account for my statement. If you recall, when I was talking, I said there is a lot wrong with Nigeria. I told you while growing up what I grew to know. And I explained to you since 1979, nothing has changed. If you tell me I have a candidate of Labour Party that ran away from the East, who said they didn't allow him to vote. I mean, a candidate of PDP who ran away in the East, or APC who ran away, who said the Labour Party overwhelmed them. I have candidates, I have people in the Southwest with similar complaints. That was why I blamed the majority of these problems on stakeholders, particularly politicians. If it's a system, let me quickly draw your attention to this. President Buhari, each time they asked him in 2019, if you lose this election, would you concede? Rather than say yes, he said, I am going to win. I am going to win. I'm the person that will come back. Even on election day, when they asked him in Daura, the pressman were saying, if you lose this election, he never admitted that he will lose the election. So nothing has changed. Let me tell you very clearly, except our attitude, we sit back as a nation and come back to the table and begin to take responsibilities for our action and attitude, and everybody gets patriotic. It's too late in the day. And let me tell you, I just told you, the governors, the House of Rep members, the senators, majority of them are returnees. What I mean, incumbents. They were all desperate to win at all costs. So blaming INEC, it's a waste of time. And when you talk about INEC admittance, I admitted too that the system is sick. The institutions are not there. Nobody protects them. Let me equally tell you very clearly, it is a time, rather than to blame anyone, it's a time for us to sit back in national dialogue and draw a line, like a military officer drawing a line in red. Let me start afresh. The situation here within the settings, let me tell you that election, going by what everybody stands as stakeholders, the election was not too bad.
Two things. And good to see you again, Mr. Peter Fayose, Oshokomola himself, Peter the Rock. All you have said,
thank you very much.
All you have said is a justification of continued illegality in our country. And a lot of people are taken aback because also you yourself have been secretly recorded by an army captain when you were hatching out election fraud plans yourself in 2014. And we all remember that experience. So is it that we should continue in that now? And I also like to ask you this honestly. If another person apart from Bola Ahmed Tinubu you supported won this election, would you come on air and say all of these things that you are saying, that people should move on without justice? you try to just rationalize what happened in Lagos. Yes, it happened in other parts of the country. But the killings, the hurts, the laceration of people's body and the likes, you know, that happen in parts of the country, but most importantly, what happened in Lagos. So should we justify this now because it favors people that you were in support of?
Can I just correct you there? I take exception to your claim that I was secretly recorded, and I take exception that nobody has proven that. Yes, I can be recorded, but nobody will ever say to you that I said they should go and rig an election. And I want to say to you, I've avoided touching on this area. When you are talking about Nigeria, let us start with the press. And let us start with your person. You recall the incident on the bus lane and your attack on the police. That shows that you, as a journalist, a public analyst, somebody who is supposed to live above board is not equally living above board. And he that must come to equity must have clean hands. I read a lot and I listen to your comments. I feel, like I said, we need to sit back and correct a lot of things.
But you give me a right of rebuttal.
Go to your question again.
You give me a right of rebuttal on the bus lane incident because I put it to you, sir. You don't know the full story of what happened.
Excuse me. If
you give me a right of rebuttal, and go ahead.
If you go that lane, we will not make a sense of this program. I was invited by your station. If you didn't touch something that impugns on my personality, I will not give you an answer to that. So if you're asking a question, I told Ruben about it yesterday, and I specifically complained about you and your attack on the people you don't believe in as a politician.
No, I have a right to do my job. You can't complain about me to my colleague.
Excuse me.
That's not
I am
right.
equally telling you, I know where you are. That's not right of you as well. That is technically not right of you as well. And if you want to make a sense out of this program, let us leave personal attacks, because you are good at that, and I'm equally good. If you want it, I'll serve it as well as that. So this program is meant to talk about issues of Nigeria and not issues of a person. We know where you are, we know where you belong, we know the parties you are supporting, but let's leave that out of the issue. So going by what you asked, Nigeria needs a total overhauling of leadership and followership. I have said it earlier that it is important to know since 1979, nothing has changed. People rushing to court now. Atiku has always gone to court since I knew Atiku as a politician and a contestant. Atiku went to court in 2019. The same judiciary said to the whole world that President Buhari won that election. Listen to you again, and listen to me. If we are not careful, as a commentator, we will remain on the television molding the opinion of Nigerians negatively, because that is what we want them to hear. For me, the election that brought Ahmed Bola Tinubu within the context of our conduct in this country is credible. It may not be the best, because you can't tell me it's Bola Ahmed Tinubu that killed the people you are mentioning. You can't tell me it was Sanwo-Olu that killed the people in Lagos. When there was an election in Ekiti, they hit me here on my back. A policeman hit me with the butt of the gun. Most of the journalists were saying Fayose has come with his drama again. I had 3 surgeries last year. I could barely walk again. But when it is good, and when it goes against people we don't want, it's the best of things that could happen. You were alive when the G5 left the PDP. You were alive when Obi left the PDP.